Because we were running higher boost before, weren't we?
Yeah, so you wouldn't have noticed it as much.
What is the issue, Daniel?
We got boost creep on that wastegate. So it's creeping at 1.3, 1.4 bar, and this being a factory engine, and that being a decent sized turbo, that's too much boost. But I would say the wastegate's stuffed anyway, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because I gave it 100% duty and it did nothing. It still just cracked off at the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The only thing that seems to hold it is...
Anyone want to put pressure in there and see if it has got a leak for the back of your pump and to see if it holds pressure?
It's not holding any pressure.
Look. It'll leak internally more than up there, because it can leak through the actual gate itself.
That run, 0% duty cycle. That run, 100% duty cycle out of the solenoid.
Yeah, so
the wastegate's not doing anything.
Yeah, I know.
But if I can get
it's running on.
Yeah, if I can get it, because it's not even built. Like if I gave it 100, it should be coming on earlier, not coming on at the same time like wastegate.
Yeah, it's just running on spring pressure and going. Whang.
Yeah.
We are removing the wastegate because we're having some boost control issues at the moment. Having a bit of boost creep, and Dan's not getting the control out of it that he wants. So we're going to pull the wastegate off, pull it apart, have a look what's going on, and maybe fit a replacement if it's buggered.
The only thing I'm worried about is that there's no tile wastegates really in stock with anyone. We might have to use a China.
Bob's your uncle.
Alright.
Look at that.
Cool. Get that in a vice and...
That's the wastegate.
Nah, just undo it real fast.
Oh yeah.
Bang!
Want to see you do a magic trick, Harry Potter?
What?
Dodge a wastegate lid.
Well, make my teeth disappear or something.
Yeah, ta-da!
So looking like pulling it apart, but you can see pumping up now that the actual air's going in and it's leaking straight out of the diaphragm. So if you spin it around, this part here, which is going up and down, it's popped up now, but I was holding it down and when it pumps it up, you can hear air leaking out part of this diaphragm here, so it's split. So now it's find a diaphragm.
You ain't tryna hit and knows you making closer. Take a fucking shot, undo roses.
0.9 bar and then it creeps.
Yeah.
Wastegate's too small.
There though, because that's a 44 is a decent gate for a also
Big turbo.
It's not that much bigger than what we run a Pieces car. Same size gate though, isn't it?
Solenoid hooked up, and that's without it. There's a big spike there, right? And there's zero control on that. So if I can get it just to taper about, what I think there is a restriction somewhere in the, what's it called, in the actual solenoid, like maybe older, it can't cycle fast enough. Yeah. But it should be open anyway at the moment, like regardless. Not a particularly good finish to the night. Looks like probably going to take the manifold off and weld a bigger wastegate to it, because that tile wastegate is just too small for the application. Doesn't matter what I do, even if I take the boost solenoid out of it completely and just plumb straight from the vacuum line to the wastegate, I've got no control. Yeah, I just can't get any pressure into it. So at the moment it's just purely a wastegate issue. You can see the spring cracks off and then it just can't get the air out of it. I don't know if it's because the little wastegate pipe's too small or whatever. Maybe that needs to be bigger, I'm not sure. But yeah, can't do much at the moment, so I guess it's got to be manifold off and bigger wastegate.
You ain't tryna hit and knows you making closer. Take a fucking shot, undo roses.
I think the way how the pipe that's coming off the manifold to the wastegate, because it is a 45mm gate that should have enough control, but just looking at the pipe it looks like it's a Synco manifold made for a internally wastegated turbo, and someone's come along and just welded a pipe on the side of the manifold to make it externally wastegated. And looking at the angle, you know, that or the pipe size.
I was going to say, it's probably a bit hot. Can you unhook the turbo cleaning so I can have a look?
Yeah, I can unhook it, yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Are you good? Hi. Day 2 of the push. From yesterday, you saw we got the car running. We got both cars running, sorry, the S14 and the 86. The S14 is having boost control issues. Now we've gone back and had a look at the old map as well, and it turns out that it's had boost control issues from when it was running on the previous engine. We believe it's something to do with a modification they've done to the manifold. We can't see any other reason. We've swapped wastegates and Mac valves and so on and so forth. So poor old Kelly's out there at the moment pulling off the turbo manifold again so we can have a look inside the manifold. 86 is now on the dyno. The word for the day, I believe, is boffins. So the nerd computer uppy page up boffins are at the moment setting all the idles and mixtures and shit like that. See? This is what it's so nice. So they're setting all the idle and all that type of stuff because we've changed the engine. We've raised the compression ratio and we have a sealing piston. So they're just doing that now. We've already done the 3 heat cycles last night, so now they're just going to do a break-in period on the rings and then we can get it off and do an oil change on it. And hopefully today we see some numbers. It should make the same if not more power than it did before, so yeah, I'm excited. Example, that's about the same power as you get out of an S15 VVT engine with a stock turbo on 14 pound on 0.8 bar, which is about 10 pound. It's about 10 and a half, 11 pound. It's making 231 wheel, nice and gentle, no timing, no boost. So that engine's a lot healthier. So we normally run the car around 1.5 bar. So yeah, it should make some good power. I'm really stoked with that. I even wore my t-shirt for good luck.
So far so good. Shiny bits. So far so good. Don't leave that here. Let that drain.
So I'm just going to go oversized. I noticed just like looking at it because I'm just draining the cooler. One of the other technicians put it all together and he did mention something to me. I didn't really think about it until now. The oil cooler, I'll see if PS has got the footage, but PS actually made a good point. The car did smush a cone, and it also has smushed into the side of another 86. Shout out to Jake. So we're not too sure, but we can see where it's like fatigued a little bit on one of the mounts, and it's also sort of pulled the actual mounting point, and we can see where there's a little impact mark. The oil cooler's not leaking, but what it's done is it's fatigued the brackets, so it's just touching the oil cooler. Sorry, the intercooler. So I'm just going to slot one of the brackets to bring it back to where it's supposed to be, because can't have the oil cooler rubbing on the intercooler. One will end up leaking boost and one will end up leaking oil from the vibration. So we're just going to sort that out now, just quickly. Put it back on the dyno, strop it back down and start making some power. the old engine on a little bit less boost, so we're making the same power now at 1.4 bar instead of 1.5 bar. So I'll be really interested to see how it turns out when Dan's finished. We're at the boost limit that we were before, and we now just made 450 wheel horse and 535 wheel newton meters, which is heat. She's hissing, bro. Obviously, you guys know the engine was hurt. We got pulled down. We went to a higher compression ratio. NZ Performance Wholesale came to the party and got us some stuff out of the States pretty quickly. It is making phenomenally better power than it used to, so we tune them at different boost levels. Dan's done what he normally does and frickin' squeezed this poor little engine out and then backed it off half a turn. At competition kilowatts or horsepower, it'll be 450 horsepower wheel, which is 400 kilowatt flywheel, 640 newton meters.
For an SR20, pretty good.
And it's dialed back just a little bit. We can run it anywhere from
All the way from 1 bar.
We got wet mode.
Yeah, we got wet mode. So if we find that it's got, like Kes is complaining about the power, if that's too much this time, we can dial it back. So, and we know that the tune's already there, ready to go, and we just need to push a button and then it does it. So yeah.
So we can go anywhere from about 300 horsepower all the way up to 450 horsepower.
Yep.
But the torque is where it's more impressive. At 1.6 bar, it makes 547 newton meters at the wheels. So those little 195s are going to die. Really stoked with the result, and the car definitely behaves a bit better with a bit more compression. It's got a fuel system that we overkilled the fuel system anyway when we built it, so Keske should be happy.
Yep.
When he wakes up from his sleep, he will find out that his car is more awesome than it was before.
So we got another SR to go on after this. All the partials on that car are already tuned, so I just got to do wide open. It's probably only going to make 200, 220 wheel. It's nothing spectacular, but at least it's enough, and it's going to get him to Bay Park.
We need to check the Honda.
I need to check the Honda, yeah.
Just running the S2000 up, just a health check. Everything's running fine. Had an oil change, but last run of the season, this engine is pretty highly strung, so normally with the motor like on this level, we'd generally strip it down at the end of the season. Yeah, everything's running fine for Bay Park, so yeah.
It's not leaking, so that's a good start.
Fixed it?
Fixed it.
What'd you done?
So we actually found out that the turbo setup we were trying to run on it with the Pulsar turbo was actually too big for this standard SR20 motor, and we're having constant boost control issues. So what we've actually done is reverted back to the ball bearing T28 turbo that came off this motor when it was sent to us, and we're hoping that that's going to fix all our boost control issues.
This wasn't my idea, by the way. Wasn't my idea. What a narc.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
What are we doing?
Just get as much as we can. It's on ethanol. Probably going to be 220-ish. We're not going to be running a huge amount of boost, so just do what we can with what we got, and just to make sure that the car can actually get out to Bay Park. That's all we're focusing on now.
what we can do with a standard engine. Seems to be going alright. Dad's just getting frustrated because he's been fucking around doing shit and stuff's not worked and grumpy. You know what time it is? It's after hours as per usual. 10 to 8.
Hi.
Hello.
What was it? 208 wheel, as much as it's going to be. It's on the factory S 15 turbo. We're running 17 pound of boost, right up on knock limit. Even with, we've got 50-50 ethanol mix in it as well, but that's all she'll make. It's what we're going to have to work with. Torque's not too bad. 393 newton meters wheel, so just shy of 400. So that's still strong. Still going. That'll get the wheel spinning, eh? 400 newton meters wheel. Depends on the tyre pressure, I guess, I suppose. Yeah. And lots of camber, lots of tyre pressure. It's got 265s on the rear. It's
Well, you can't run 265s in competition anyway.
no, he's going to use them in practice, but they're skidding up on the dyno pretty easy. They're old and hard, so they're pretty much a 235. Yeah. What's the time? 8 o'clock, I think. So it has been a late night. Yeah, it's as much as we can do today. There's an oil leak to fix. Looks like it's coming from the rear somewhere. Well, I think it's turbo drain. Had to tidy up some wiring. There was a short in the boost solenoid which killed the solenoid, so we replaced it and fixed the wiring. She ended up running a new wire and just kind of spliced it in. But yeah, it's all running now. It actually has a high-low boost switch that actually works. There's nothing really else, is there, right?
No, I guess I suppose we're just being funny, as in, being like, I only make 200 kilowatt or whatever, but I think people need to sort of think about when this car turned up, it had a VET head, DET block. It had already blown up a turbo prior to that. Then in a previous episode we would have shown you that all the rockers exited the chat. Then we've taken the motor out, had a look at the bottom end. The ARP studs were fitted to the main caps, and it obviously hadn't been line bored, so it had actually split the bearings out. Then the call was made by the owner to ship up a standard engine. This motor arrived on a pallet out of another car, covered in oil. It was just a street motor, nothing special. Kelly, Harry Potter, the guy with the glasses, one of the technicians here, has spent a week adding wiring in, removing wiring, adapting the car back to effectively what the engine it came out with, chasing faults because we didn't know prior to getting the car running what worked and what didn't, because it never ran properly. Just a big shout out to him from his boss, I guess. Just he's put in a lot of hard work and done a phenomenal job. And Nathan, also the fabricator here, he jumped on and helped Kelly out this afternoon and finished off a couple of bits and pieces, converting it back to the factory turbo and stuff like that. So they've worked really hard, so well done, boys. And I think regardless of what the outcome is, it's not a big power car, but it'll be fun for Ben to drive. And at the end of the day, Ben can go driving at Bay Pike, which is what he really wants to do. This was the event that he didn't want to miss. It looks like we managed to get him there, and that was the main thing. That was the reason why we took on the job, is to help Ben out, get him to the track so he can do his race. So happy with that. Everyone's cold, everyone's tired. It's actually flooding in Auckland today. Whenever someone watches this, there's swimming pools outside. So yeah, we'll wrap it up, come in tomorrow, start packing for D1, and yeah, send it.
Yep. And then after this round, case swap. Ben, case swap.
Or yeah, case swap.
Alright, let's go home.